Good morning and welcome to the video. I'm here at Heathrow, flying to Boston today with Delta. Very excited too, as I'm going to be flying in Delta One for the very first time. That's Delta's business product, and in their Airbus A330 NEO. So looking forward to that. And if that sounds of use to you, if you're interested, then do stay tuned. In the meantime, let's check out the view. Thanks for joining me.
So let's get started then with a lovely shot of this Airbus of Delta Airlines coming into land at Heathrow Airport. And here is the jet I'll be flying on today, this 4-year-old Airbus A330-900. Well, let's get this flight underway, and we start typically in the back of a cab on our way to Terminal 3. But that's where it stopped being typical. You see, Delta One passengers get to access Virgin Atlantic's upper class wing at Heathrow Terminal 3. So that means private drop-off, upper class check-in, private security, and of course, access to the world-renowned Virgin Clubhouse. Very exciting indeed. Oh, and a nice touch. As we turn the corner here, you'll see there was already somebody stood there waiting for me to arrive. A very good start to the flight indeed. Please, no autographs. Honestly, it really did feel like I was a bit of a VIP. Now, I appreciate lots of people go through this process every single day, but I don't, and I really enjoyed it. It was an amazing experience to miss out on all the hubbub in the terminal, get my bag checked in literally as soon as I walked in the door, and then I was soon off to a private security lane where I was off and into the terminal in literally minutes. It really was a first-class experience and something I'd love to do again. It made the whole experience of arriving at the airport just so much easier. It also gave me more time to then wander around the terminal. Now, of course, even though I'd come in through the upper-class wing, they still get you, don't they? Yes, that's right, here I am, wandering through duty-free as I tried to find the Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse. Now, I know that Terminal 3 is getting on in years, but actually I really like Terminal 3. I think it's got a really good selection of shops, brilliant selection of lounges, and this one is no exception. Apologies for the music, it was very loud in there, which was a bit scary as it was only about 6:45 in the morning. But this is the Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse. It's recently been renovated, and I have to say, it is absolutely amazing. Now, reading online, Virgin were going for the rhythm and character of London in terms of the style of the lounge. I think they've nailed it. They even give you free electrolytes. Who knew? Anyway, so who in their right mind wouldn't start off with a Bloody Mary? It was actually very nice indeed, and, as my face will show, quite spicy. I took a wander around the rest of the lounge. In the corner, there's a special VIP area, which I didn't go into. And then on top of that, there's lots of screens and information all over the place. I think they really have done an amazing job of this lounge. It really felt like an incredibly good start to my trip. Well played, Delta, for being good friends with Virgin Atlantic. In this case, you absolutely are on to a winner. If you're Delta One, remember, you get access to this lounge. At the front of the lounge, there's this lovely little cafeteria-style area, I'd say, with a really lovely view over the apron. There wasn't very much Delta or Virgin Atlantic action, to be fair, but there was loads of action when it came to a brilliant menu, and this was my Eggs Benedict, or at least Virgin Atlantic's twist on the same. I might have had a champagne as well. It was now 7:30 in the morning, so I felt like another drink was okay. I took a walk around just to get a feel for the rest of the lounge. It really is a very nice space. There was loads of room, and even though it felt busy, there seemed to be loads of seating available for everyone. Lounge seating, private seating, this more cafeteria style seating, and then upstairs, I'll show you later, but there's a lovely little loft area too. The toilets have also been refurbished, and not one for sharing toilets really, but hey, there we go, that's me. The toilets were in good shape and had lots of nice amenities and places to change. and to freshen up. This is the little loft area, which is up the stairs. And then, in my opinion, yes, me again, the jewel in the crown is this little outdoor garden. Now, this door looks like you shouldn't go through it. I actually had to go down and ask if I was allowed out there. Turns out you are. But this is where I did my initial video from at the start of the video. This amazing rooftop terrace. Now, it's a bit cloudy today, a bit misty, so the view wasn't amazing. But if the views were good, you have a panoramic view of the airfield at Heathrow. What a really, really nice space. Back downstairs, it was time for me to say goodbye to the lounge. It really was an amazing start to my trip. An amazing bar, and behind me, I didn't film it, but there was also this lovely deli where they'd make up a sandwich for you if you prefer that to a breakfast. Here's the reception area of the upper class lounge, and you'll see here all the previous iterations of Virgin Atlantic's uniform over the years. Terminal 3 is not the biggest terminal in the world, but weirdly it does seem to take an awfully long time to walk anywhere. By the time I got to the gate, boarding was already well underway. Here I am getting on board our A330 NEO over to Boston Logan Airport. It seemed like a bit of a mad rush. It was fine. It just seemed like everyone had the same idea at the same time, and I walked into what seemed to be a very busy business cabin. I did have a very nice warm welcome from not one, but two of the Delta Airlines crew. So here's the cabin then. As you can see, really, really busy. As far as I know, the cabin was full for this flight. I don't think there was a spare seat. You'll also notice that there are suites, which is lovely. It means you get lots of privacy and lots of space. Here's the Aerolopper seat map, and you'll see here a good tip would be to book even-numbered window seats as they sit further away from the aisle. Let's look around the seat top line. I was in 2J, massive screen, lots of space, this lovely sideboard on my left, a place for my earphones, a little light. I did try to make it work, I'm not sure I quite managed that. Seat controls, and also we got an amenity kit as well. Even got some slippers. I've not seen that before with other carriers, or at least not in the way they were presented. Loads of power options as well, and a bottle of water waiting for me too. As I said, not sure how that worked. I'll come back to that, maybe not. Lots of legroom in the seated position, as you can see here, and of course, a lovely view. Under this little flap in the armrest there was a mirror and also a little remote control for the television. There were also some additional controls alongside, well, quite a few crumbs actually, but I wasn't hugely offended by that. Not the end of the world. Now back to this amenity kit. It's by this company called Mazzoni. I don't know who they are, I've never heard of them to be honest. But inside was a really nice little set of things, including a pair of socks my wife has already taken ownership of. She said they were very good. Anyways, pre-departure drink was champagne. Who was I to say no? Cheers. We were handed this very fancy looking Delta One pamphlet, which had lots of really helpful information about Wi-Fi, how to use the seat, and how to use the IFE. It of course also had the menu in it. If any of this is of interest, you can just pause so you can take a closer look. I thought it looked really, really nice. Kind of high end, the sort of thing you get in a restaurant. On top of that, there were lights and heating controls for each seat, which I really appreciate. So let's look at the IFE. Very nice touchscreen controls and also the remote in the armrest. Lots of new releases, plenty of content. I'm not going to count it, but there was enough on there for pretty much anyone. Lots of new releases. And also our old favourites, Modern Family, something the wife and I really, really enjoy. And of course, The Big Bang Theory. That show must make a fortune out of the airlines. Anyway, here's the other IFE, The View. The provided earphones were reasonably comfortable. I'm not sure if they were noise cancelling or not, but they seemed to do the job very well. We pushed back about on time and then got to sit and watch the safety video. It's a little less flamboyant than some of the other airlines are trying to do at the moment, but it was functional and did what it was supposed to do. Once the front door was shut, the crew said that we could access Wi-Fi, and that we did. If you're a Delta SkyMiles member, which I am, you got to access Wi-Fi for free for the flight. I thought that was an amazing deal. You'll see there though, I didn't get great speeds, but not sure if that might have been user error. Anyways, here we are, headed for the runway, ready for the off. Just listen to those engines. We were up nice and quick and were treated to brilliant views of Heathrow Airport as we climbed. A big shout out to my subscribers. Thanks so much for following my adventures. And if you're interested in what I'm doing, then do please hit that subscribe button as well. You'd be very welcome to join us all. Anyway, soon we were up to a higher altitude, and that's where service would begin. What seemed like 3 seconds after the no seatbelt signs had been switched off, we were passed over our hot towels. Very nice too. The tray table deploys from the armrest, as you'll see. As ever, always challenging to do that one-handed, if I'm honest, but it was very sturdy and very big. Sadly though, if you wanted to get in or out of your suite, you're not going to be able to with the tray deployed. It's different to some of those trays that come from in front of you to allow you in and out. To start with, I had more champagne, some warm nuts, and some water. It was a lovely day for flying. We've been told to expect a little bit of turbulence, but thankfully, we didn't really experience any on our journey. Soon, my soup and starter turned up. It was delicious. Salmon, soup, and a roll. Now, oddly, I've just said there wasn't any turbulence. All right, there was a little bit there. Now, I did think this was really cool. I wonder if they're taking their cue from Virgin here with their cute little salt and pepper shaker, an engine-sized salt and pepper shaker. I just thought that was really cool. I just want to call out the service because it had been really, really good on this flight. The flight attendant looking after me seemed to really enjoy her job, was friendly and very courteous. She was also really proactive. Here's the beef short rib. Presentation perhaps not the best, but it tasted amazing and was piping hot too. Now, I'd had my fair share of booze, so I thought a ginger ale would do me some good, and that was before my very first ice cream sundae on a plane. Who knew? It was very nice. Things were soon cleared away, and I just wanted to get another shot of this sideboard because it was enormous. Delta has the upgraded Thompson Vantage XL suite seat. Very nice indeed, and of course it comes armed with this sliding door. Now, just before I shut the door, you'll notice they were private anyway, so you don't need a door, although I will say that when the door is closed, it really, really does feel private. I had a bit of time before the next service would be coming, so I thought I'd get a bit of a lay down, and you'll see here I'm quite a broad chap, but still had a reasonable amount of room around the shoulders. I couldn't quite lay flat. I'm 6'4", I couldn't do it in this suite, and that's not unusual for these types of suites for me, but it was still very comfortable nonetheless. This is the shot when laying down. Lots and lots of privacy. A nice place to be as I watched pretty much the whole series of Silicon Valley. I'd recommend it. Really good watch. We had breathtaking views pretty much the whole journey. I was ready for a cup of coffee. It was starting to get late into the flight. We were probably 3 hours out of Boston, so I decided to put a film on. I watched the new version of The Running Man. It reminded me you really shouldn't remake things sometimes. Anywho, soon we would get some snacks handed out to us. We were treated to some amazing views over Newfoundland too. That's the best IFE you can get, in my opinion. Now, talking of IFE, it was back to Modern Family for a bit of light relief, and I was handed some lovely red wine as we got ready for our pre-landing snack. Now, having just had a ice cream sundae, what better to go for than a burger on a plane now as well? It was very tasty, and actually I felt quite a substantial pre-landing meal on the basis we'd already had a very, very good 3-course meal earlier in the flight. It was only a 7.5-hour flight, don't forget. We were treated to some amazing coastal views coming into Boston. I'd quite forgotten they have lovely beaches there up in New England. It was beautiful. This gives me a good opportunity to reflect on the flight, and I was getting to the point where I was gutted that we were going to be getting off the plane already. I really wasn't ready for the experience to be over. I think that speaks volumes about the Delta One experience overall. So what am I saying? Is Delta One number one? Well, from the pre-flight communication to the ground experience at London Heathrow, to the way that I was treated on board, the food, the seat, even down to the attention to detail shown in the menus. I thought end to end, this is probably the best business class flight I've ever taken. And that's saying something, having recently flown with Qatar Airways. Now, I know this is all subjective, but the reality is this did everything it needed to do for me. And I sat for some time to think about what I didn't like about the flight. Do you know what I came up with? The presentation of the main course. Yep, that's all I could think of. This 7-hour, 30-minute flight from ground experience in London through to the arrival experience in Boston Logan, and of course the flight in between, I could not pick a single other thing that I didn't like about the flight. The one thing that really did surprise me is that I've heard really disparaging things about the crews in the US airlines. It's not what I experienced today. I found the crew to be caring, considerate and proactive, and very friendly too. So, there you have it. Is Delta One number one? Well, potentially, yes, it really is for me. Now, of course, Delta's experience was supported by the Virgin Atlantic ground stuff, but let me tell you, having flown back from Boston to the UK, this time with Virgin Atlantic, the Delta One experience on the ground is equally as good. Keep a lookout for that video coming soon. I'd expected something quite different from a US airline, but I was really pleasantly surprised. Here we are, arriving at our gate early at Boston Logan in the USA. Thanks so much for watching my review. I'm so glad to have you with me, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Thanks again.